You know, it's so easy to believe that we see the world exactly as it is. We kind of tell ourselves that we're these objective observers, right? Just gathering facts and making logical choices. But the real truth is, well, that's a little more unsettling than that. You don't actually see what's there. You see what you already believe is there. So let's dive into this quiet, invisible architecture that's shaping our reality every single second. See, your brain isn't just passively recording everything like a camera. Oh no, it's an active and frankly, a tireless editor. It's constantly cutting and splicing the footage of your life to fit a script that you probably wrote years ago. And just like any good editor, it's not trying to show everything, it's trying to tell a very, very specific story. And that's the big question, isn't it? If our brain is following a script, who wrote it and what does it say? The answer to that leads us to one of the most powerful and, honestly, one of the most invisible forces in all of human psychology. And here's the name of that script: confirmation bias. It's our brain's default setting, really. It's this natural tendency to hunt for information that proves us right. It's a mental shortcut, and it feels like we're making a discovery. But what it's really doing is building a world where our own beliefs are just echoed right back to us. Okay, so this slide really gets to the heart of it. It shows this huge gap between our perception and reality. We think we're like scientists out there discovering the truth, but most of the time we're actually more like lawyers, just building a case for a conclusion we've already decided on. The goal isn't really about what's true, it's about getting that emotional reward of feeling right. Now, you'd think that being smarter, having a higher IQ, would fix this problem. But here's the crazy paradox. High intelligence doesn't just get rid of these struggles. In fact, a sharper mind can actually make you even better at justifying your own biases. And this paradox happens because really intelligent minds are often wired for nonstop processing. This can lead to stuff like chronic overthinking, a deep sensitivity to things that don't make sense, and even feeling emotionally out of sync with other people. So you're not just biased, you're actually highly skilled at building an airtight fortress of reasons for that bias. And yep, we end up living inside that fortress. A lot of us treat our opinions like they're our actual identity. So admitting you were wrong about something, it feels less like a simple software update and more like a tear in your own skin. We end up protecting our beliefs not because they're true, but just because they belong to us. This breaks down that process perfectly. I mean, think about it. You run into a fact that contradicts your worldview. Your first reaction isn't logical, it's emotional. It feels like a personal attack. And then you use your intelligence not to investigate the new information, but to skillfully use logic to shut down your emotions and defend your original spot. Let's think of it like this. Your mind is a magnet. If your deep down belief is that the world is a dangerous place, that magnet is on. It'll just ignore the 1,000 little moments of safety or kindness you see every day. Those are like non-magnetic facts. But that one person who cuts you off in traffic, clang, that sticks. And you walk away thinking, see, I knew it. So here's the absolute crucial point. We constantly mistake that feeling of being right for the actual presence of truth. Our brain gives us a little hit of satisfaction, not for being accurate, but simply for being consistent with what we already thought. So how in the world do we break out of this fortress we've built? Well, the answer isn't about thinking faster or knowing more stuff. It actually comes from a quiet, very deliberate skill that completely redefines what it means to be intelligent. Just think about it for a second. When the pressure is on, what is the single greatest skill that separates an impulsive, emotional freakout from a calm, deliberate response? It's the pause, just that little mental gap between a feeling and an action. It's so incredibly simple, but it's the space where all of our higher-level thinking and all of our freedom truly exists. Psychologists have a name for this, of course. They call it cognitive control. It's the ability to override our brain's default survival mode, that instant emotional impulse, and instead choose to shift into our reasoning mode. This control, this is the true sign of high-functioning intelligence. And this slide just lays out the difference perfectly. A reaction is automatic, it's emotional, it's totally rooted in survival. But a response, that's controlled, logical, and it's born from reason. And the pause is the bridge that gets you from one to the other. It's where we take back the controls from our automatic programming. The best news here is that cognitive control isn't some fixed trait. It's a skill, a muscle you can strengthen. So let's look at 3 core habits that can help you build that pause and literally rewire your mind for more clarity. The first habit is something called metacognition, which is just a fancy way of saying thinking about your own thinking. So instead of instinctively defending your position, get curious about it. Ask yourself, wait a minute, what if I'm wrong here? What am I just assuming to be true? This simple act turns all your powerful analytical skills inward. And this is exactly why. True intelligence isn't about having all the right answers locked down. It's about having the flexibility to change your mind when you get new evidence. Rigid minds get stuck. Flexible minds learn and they grow. Which leads us right to the next habit. Start treating your beliefs like they're software, not like they're your core identity. When new information comes along, see it as a chance to upgrade your understanding of the world, not as some kind of threat to who you are as a person. And this is such a powerful shift in thinking. I mean, most people think admitting you were wrong is a sign of weakness, but it's actually a sign of a highly controlled, high-functioning mind. It means your sense of self is stable enough that it doesn't need to be defended by a big wall of false confidence. So all of this brings us to a new, and I think a much more accurate definition of what it really means to be intelligent. And spoiler alert, it's probably not what most of us were taught to believe. We tend to mistake loud certainty for intelligence, don't we? But a more accurate view shows that real intelligence is often quiet. It's not about how fast you can process information. It's about how much control you have over that process. It's not about digging in and defending beliefs, but about having the courage to update them. This just says it all perfectly. The loudest person in the room is often the one who is the least aware. True intelligence comes with a healthy dose of intellectual humility, a real awareness of just how much you don't know, and a genuine willingness to see. And that leaves us with a final question to carry with us. The next time you feel yourself digging your heels in, defending a position, or just scrolling for that one piece of evidence that proves you're right, just pause and ask yourself this. Am I genuinely looking for the truth right now, or am I just looking for a mirror to reflect what I already believe? The answer to that question might just change everything.